Intelligence is highly regarded by society, but like many things, it can have its challenges. While intelligence will get you ahead in many ways, it also comes with its fair share of burdens. Today on Charisma, we're going to look at the 10 problems only highly intelligent people have. Number 1. They're lonely. Did you know that smarter people tend to be lonelier than the average person? In fact, research has shown that those who are smarter tend to focus more of their energy on their long-term objectives, whether those are career or financial goals, than in building and nurturing relationships with those around them. As a result, although they may end up with the house or the job they've always wanted, intelligent people may find themselves celebrating success alone because they don't spend adequate time building relationships. However, even if an intelligent person does have friendships or a romantic partner, they may still feel lonelier than the average person. That's because smarter people have a harder time relating to others, as they simply have less in common with the average person. For instance, smarter people often process information differently from the average person, and have different life goals and things that bring them joy. Over time, this may result in intelligent people drifting away from their friends or partner. Number 2, they're anxious. A recent study just came out with some not so great news for those who are super smart. The study, which was published in the journal Intelligence, compared the rate of psychological and physiological disorders amongst people who belong to the high IQ society Mensa with those of ordinary people. What the study found was that smarter people are more likely to have anxiety disorders. In fact, 20% of the intelligent people surveyed had an anxiety disorder, compared with 10% of the overall population. The reasons for this may vary. It may be because more intelligent people are perfectionists who put a lot of pressure on themselves, or it may just be that their minds work differently. Either way though, anxiety is something highly intelligent people tend to have more often. Number 3, they're always stressed. Studies have shown that those with high IQs are often more stressed than the average person. In fact, the study I mentioned earlier, the one that examined those in Mensa and compared them to the average population, found that smarter people have certain traits that can lead to them experiencing more stress. One of the core traits the researchers found is the fact that intelligent people tend to overanalyze things. This overthinking can cause feelings of overwhelm and, in turn, stress. The researchers of the study also highlighted the fact that stress can be particularly harmful to intelligent people, not just only on a psychological level, but on a physiological level as well. That's because stress has been shown to lower immune function and can in turn lead to certain diseases. Number 4, they're overly analytical. Smart people are super analytical. And while the ability to analyze is great, this can become a problem when it leads to overanalyzing and analysis paralysis. Because an intelligent person can see all of the options in a given situation, along with their pros and cons, they can easily be drawn to overanalyzing things. Eventually, this can make it hard for them to come to decisions, resulting in smart people having what's known as analysis paralysis. This means that they have a hard time making decisions because they overanalyze situations so much. For an intelligent person, this difficulty making decisions can apply to something as simple as what to have for dinner to as big as whether they should propose to the person they're seeing. Number 5, they don't sleep. Did you know that smarter people on average go to bed later than those with lower IQs? Research published in the journal Personality and Individual Differences found that intelligent people are more likely to stay up later than others. The study showed that in early adulthood, those with IQs under 75 went to bed by 11:40 p.m. on weeknights on average, whereas those who had IQs over 125 went to bed later than 12:30 a.m. on weeknights. The researchers hypothesized that this is likely due to a difference in the circadian rhythms of highly intelligent people. And while they also found that those with high IQs slept later than those with low IQs, they got less sleep overall. While this isn't necessarily a problem for all of those with high IQs, not enough sleep has been linked to an increased risk for certain health conditions. Number 6, they're perfectionists. While it's great to want to do things to the best of your ability, intelligent people have the tendency to go beyond wanting things to be great as they want them to be perfect. In fact, they have incredibly high standards for themselves. This can be problematic for a couple of reasons. For one, it means that they put a lot of pressure on themselves because their standards are so high. Over time, this pressure can sometimes become overwhelming. The second reason that this can be detrimental to a smart person is because perfectionism is usually not attainable. As a result, intelligent people can fall short of their really high expectations for themselves, and when they fall short, their confidence and self-esteem can take a hit. But in addition to putting these high expectations on themselves, smart people often find that others put high standards on them. Because of their reputation as being intelligent, they may find that others hold them to a higher standard than the average person. And if the standard is perfection, it can be challenging, if not outright impossible, to meet this standard. Number 7, they have mood disorders. There was another noteworthy result that came out of the study I mentioned earlier from the journal Intelligence, and that's that those with high IQs are more likely to have mood disorders like depression and bipolar disorder than the average person. In fact, the researchers found that those in Mensa, or those with high IQs, over 25% had been diagnosed with a mood disorder compared to 10% of those in the general population. The researchers hypothesized that this may be due to the fact that intelligent people's brains have what's known as overexcitabilities. Psychological overexcitabilities are linked to an increased likelihood to ruminate and worry. Physiological overexcitabilities mean that the body responds more to stress. When linked together, this can lead to things like mood disorders. Number 8, they're easily bored. It's no secret that intelligent people have minds that work at a faster pace than others. They can process information quicker, draw conclusions quicker, and can even take in a larger quantity of information than the average person. And while their fast-paced way of thinking can be a huge asset, the downside is that smarter people are more easily bored. This especially applies to social and work situations. For instance, at a party, an intelligent person may find themselves quickly bored with small talk with strangers because it's not interesting enough to entertain their fast-paced mind. Talking about the weather or other mundane things will just not be enough to occupy the brain of an intelligent person, and so they find themselves frequently bored in social situations. This also applies to work situations. If they're not in a career that's challenging enough, an intelligent person may start slacking off at work because they're bored, or bounce around from job to job without any real fulfillment. Number 9, they're easily distracted. As if an increased tendency to have anxiety, stress, and mood disorders wasn't enough, highly intelligent people also have a higher likelihood of being easily distracted, and even having ADHD. A recent study, for instance, looked at a survey of over 10,000 workers and found that those who were smarter had a tendency to be more easily distracted at work. The reason for this, the researchers thought, was that smarter people have many ideas coming to them throughout the day and have difficulty prioritizing them. For instance, if tasked at work with coming up with ways to make a process more efficient, someone with a high IQ might come up with 10 different great ideas, but struggle to fully flesh out any of them. A less intelligent person, on the other hand, might only have 1 or 2 different ideas, and though they might not be as good, they are able to fully break them out as they're not distracted by other options. Number 10, they feel a lot of pressure to succeed. One of the pitfalls intelligent people face is that they are drawn to perfectionism. Because they set such high standards for themselves, they feel a ton of pressure to succeed. Furthermore, because they're smart, most people expect them to succeed. If they were the star student in school, for instance, their classmates and teachers might expect them to go on to a top college and make a ton of money. All this pressure to do well makes it even more challenging for them if they don't succeed or don't fully meet expectations. Unfortunately, if they don't hit the big goals they and others set for them, their self-esteem and confidence could suffer as a result. What about why intelligent people don't have any friends? Watch this video to learn about that.